Yes.
I'm Mike Moulden. I'm the pastor at First Christian Church in Winchester, 75 Merriman's Lane, 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. If you're interested in joining us, love to have you.
Yeah, awesome. And how are you involved in the rescue mission?
The church is involved. We come every third Saturday of the month to serve supper. Always look forward to doing it. We have 4 different groups to come and to volunteer and get volunteers to come with us. It's one of those things where you look at it, we're going to be a blessing to the rescue mission and serving this meal, but we always end up being the ones being blessed. Residents are always so gracious and helpful and thankful, and just a real pleasure to be here doing that.
Yeah. And you guys not only do that, but you're also a host site for
Watts.
As well. And you guys set up your chapel. And I think, last year we came in and some of our staff
served
helped
one of the meals.
prep the meals.
That was great.
Yeah.
Are you on again this year?
Yeah.
We were just talking about that this morning, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Put us on the calendar. I am volunteering the team again to do something.
Okay, Laura,
but
you hear that? They're on board.
Yeah. Great.
Put them on your schedule.
Yep. So
it was great. Really good. Yep. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
We enjoyed having you all. Meal was great. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So Mike, you're heavily involved in the work. I feel like not just in the church, not just here at the mission, but really I think overall in the community. What role do you think the church has to play in tackling such a complex issue like homelessness?
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. I was listening to and watching the broadcast as I was coming in, and you were talking about relationships. And I think that's the big key to it. I won't mention any names, obviously, but one of the Watts guests from several years ago, him and I had a pretty good relationship at the end of the week. And he actually ended up coming to the rescue mission the week after because he didn't have any place to go otherwise for his home. And he would call me each Sunday morning, and I would come pick him up here in the alley behind the rescue mission, take him to church. And he didn't come for several weeks, and I was concerned about him. But he had actually gone to Northern Virginia to a rehab facility, was involved down there, and he would call me every once in a while. And he contacted me just recently, and he's in Richmond now, going through a program down there. And he texts me every Sunday morning after the service is over and lets me know that he'd been watching the service. He asks me some kind of question to just check in. And those kind of relationships are neat. They really are.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about, and
I figured you probably did.
Yeah. And man, I'm so grateful that we got
and that's always kind of been our goal with the Watts program. We love serving the Watts meals and love having them there at the church. It's been a great event for the church. We come together as a community to serve, and our goal has always been to find that one person who's looking for that extra hand just to get to the next step. And each year we've always been able to find that one person that's looking, that's that close to being where they need to be. And we've been able to help them get to that next step, which has been great for the church and great for the community as well.
Yeah.
And we still keep some of those relationships. It's not unusual to have 4 or 5 of those folks that we built those relationships with us on Sunday morning. And that's really neat.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And prior to us kind of being live, we talked about the idea of hope, right? What role do you think in this kind of line of work? And, you're talking about, rehabilitation and then sobriety and in recovery and in homelessness. How do you think that idea of like hope and, that idea of, and our experience, Christianity, but in spirituality has to play in those?
I think it's a key thing, and that's one of the big reasons that we partner so much with the rescue mission, is because of that hope that they offer through Jesus. There's other organizations where they can get financial help or help with clothing or different things like that, but it's really the spiritual connection, the Christian connection with Jesus, which is why we partner so much with the rescue mission, because you all do offer that hope beyond what's here in this world.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we frequently say, is we focus so much on homelessness, and we focus on a lot of things like workforce development and financial literacy and healthy relationships, healthy communication skills, all kinds, all of those things, all really great things. Mental health care, physical health care, those kinds of things, partnering with those organizations who can do that. But personally, I feel really not okay if we do all of those things, but we don't address,
Right.
I think, this need for us, because I feel like we are very spiritual beings, right? And we were talking earlier how I feel like we are each created in the image of God.
Absolutely.
And if we cannot create an opportunity for people to see that and feel that, at least planting a seed, then we're doing.
Right. And that's all we
Yeah.
are anyway, seed
Yeah.
planters.
Mhm.
We have no control over what God
Yep.
does
Mhm.
through them, through the work. But we can plant that seed and let God water it, or
Mhm.
let somebody else water it, and let God produce the increase.
Mhm.
Let God produce the fruit in it.
Yeah.
But we have to plant those seeds.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's we're so grateful for you and the way that you do that. And there's just so many other churches that support us in that way as well. You also help support not only serving dinner and not just hosting at Watts, but you come out and you hang out with the staff a good bit.
Every once in a while,
every
yeah.
once in a while, yeah. When we've got all staff
when I can
meetings.
find you.
Yeah, right. And so that's such a blessing to me, and such a blessing to the staff. We really appreciate that, kind of spiritual mentorship. And tell us a little bit about why. How that started, because I think it started with Brandon.
Yep.
And then kind of what that's looked like, and why you do that and what that looks like.
I think part of it, as a pastor, you just care for people. You should care for people anyway. If you don't, you're in the wrong line.
Yeah, absolutely in the wrong business. Or not business.
Right. Wrong field.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's part of it, because you all need care just as much as the residents do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't have the physical needs that they do, but you all take a tremendous toll mentally and physically as well, but emotionally. It's a big burden to carry, because you all are pastors too. Mm-hmm. You may not have that official title of pastor, but you're pastors in the fact that you care for people outside of the physical realm. You're looking to meet their needs in every way that you can. And just to be able to do that for you, for the rescue mission and the staff, has been a real blessing to me to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I look forward to doing that.
Yeah.
And hope it continues.
Yeah.
I remember when Brandon left, I came to you. I said, "No, what's your name again?" One of those brain fog things.
Yeah.
I came to you and said, "Don't feel obligated to keep me as the rescue mission chaplain if you have a different direction that you want to go." And you've asked me to stay on, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Been a great relationship.
Yeah, I would agree. I love seeing you. I love having you at some so many of our staff's conversations, because you mentioned caring for those who are caring for others,
right.
and you do it in your role.
Right.
You are called to serve and to love others, and in some capacity carry the burdens of others, and I think, that can definitely wear on you. And I think having you support us in that way just really means such a great deal.
And you all support me in that world just as well. You may not realize it, but you really do.
Yeah. I believe that. I trust that. I was talking earlier with Jay Foreman, and the idea of, when we feel like we're serving others, we also get something
Absolutely.
in return that I don't think we actually thought that we would. I absolutely believe that. So what are, we've talked a little bit about this with a handful of individuals. In your opinion, what are some kind of practical ways that you think, if you were speaking to members in your congregation, or if you were speaking to, our neighbors across from the train tracks on North Kent Street, to get involved, what would you, encourage them to do to support, individuals experiencing homelessness, or supporting Winchester Rescue Mission?
As far as supporting Rescue Mission, I think it all goes back to relationships again. I see often Samuel post on the volunteer app, looking for people to come in to play bingo, or the desk.
Yep,
welcome desk.
Yep.
Those may seem like just a little thing, but it's a big help to the mission, and it helps you to build relationships with the people that are in the mission. And I just think that's where it has to start. Because if you don't have that relationship, I remember one year it was the first year that Laurie and I had helped with the Watts program, and we helped serve a meal that night. We were coming in to pick her it was on Saturday night, and we were coming in town to pick her grandmother up for church on Sunday morning. and a guy walked across the street in front of us, and I just started crying. And Laurie said, "What are you crying about?" I said, "That same guy walked across the street last week, and he was a homeless person. And we just served him supper last night and watch program. But now he's got a name. I know that guy's name now.
Yeah.
And it made all the difference in the world. And just, a homeless person walking across the street, and now it's somebody has a name, walking, and it's just makes a huge difference when it has that personal aspect to it. It's not just a person; it's actually somebody with a name, and kind of know their story.
Absolutely.
In any way you can build those relationships, it's beneficial to everybody.
Yeah, I think that's really the foundation of everything that we do. And I've had a couple conversations. Mary Bruce earlier is, first understanding that we are all created in the image of God.
Equally.
Yeah. Right? There's so much beauty in how different you and I look and how different of talents Brian and I have.
Sure.
And
God uses all of them to work together.
God uses all of it, right? And I think that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, I think, making a difference, it really can just come down to making a difference when it comes to homelessness for an individual experiencing homelessness. How can you help that? Just as a neighbor, is getting to know that, just asking that person's name, or just making eye contact with them.
Right.
I think that's so.
And the eye contact's a big deal.
Oh yeah,
it's a huge deal.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things, there's a book that I'm reading right now. It's called Radical Hospitality.
Okay.
Have you read that?
I've not. I've seen it.
Okay.
I've not read it.
A lot of it, and I hope I'm not catching you off guard, but I just feel like when you look at the life of Jesus, and you look at really what he fought for, what he laid down, his life for, was this idea of radical hospitality. And so we try to reflect that. So in your opinion, what do you think being radically hospitable looks like? What does hospitality mean to you? What does that look like?
Going out of your way to open a door for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want to say inconvenience, but I think about the story of Jesus walking through the street, going to the centurion's house to heal his daughter. And the woman with the issue of blood comes up and touches him on the edge of his garment. Instead of just walking on past, he stops and he looks at her and he calls her daughter. And he reaches out and touches her.
Yeah.
When the easy thing to do, crowd of people around him, he's in a hurry, just keep walking. But he stopped because that one person that needed his touch and needed that extra something from him, and he took the time to do it. And that's what we're called to do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I also think the story of the Good Samaritan, right?
Right.
And you very well, you very well just could have continued, walking past,
just like everybody else did.
Just like everybody else did. But you took the time to, temporarily bandage them, support them in the ways that they needed, provide this, the help that they needed, and then go out of your way, inconveniencing you, right, to support them and putting them in the inn, right?
Sure.
Talking to the innkeeper, saying, take this, I'm gonna cover his stay, and if he needs to stay beyond his stay,
right, I'll be back in a couple weeks. Let me know what else
you let me know, and I'm covering that, right? I think that's radical hospitality at its absolute
most
finest.
definitely.
And so I feel I have to share that book with you because it's such a, I'm about halfway through with it. I have a terrible time. I'll find a book that I get really excited about, and I'll either see it in person or somebody tells me about it, and I'm like, Amazon, add to cart, ship immediately, and then I start it, and then I get really excited about something else.
In about 12 books.
Exactly. I
resemble that.
Yeah, I'm I have I think I'm in the middle of 9 books the last time I counted. I'm like, oh my gosh, and you're laughing seriously. My nightstand is yeah. Yeah. And it's like everything from like leadership to like management to hospitality. I was talking with Wes earlier about this really great book. It's called Food and Faith. And how, there's such a spiritual component to food and cooking and, sharing it and blah, 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 all these things and being good stewards of the earth. Right. And I'm like, oh, I love it. And I just want to read all of it. I just want to know all of it. I just want to do the most with all of it. But I'll have to share Radical Hospitality with you because it's even the half of the book that I've read so far. Yeah, I think it really challenges how makes me rethink the work that we do here and how we approach every conversation. When somebody walks through our doors, whether we're at capacity or not, how do we greet them? Right. How do we, have a conversation with them? As a mom, like, how can I, be hospitable to, the people that I see at Fletcher's, school and things like that. And, raising him with the understanding that we're all created in the image of God and we need to act in a way that not how society tells us to act or how society shows us or, within a certain caste system. But really, like, how do we
welcome people like Jesus welcomed?
Yeah. And like, it says like Jesus moved into the neighborhood and like we're told love your neighbor as you love yourself. Right. And who's your neighbor? Well, anybody. Right. And so, and just doing that in such a radical way with the utmost love and care. Yeah. So, I'll be sure to pass that book whenever. I don't know if I'm actually going to finish reading it. Okay. When?
Brian, if she hadn't picked it up in 2 weeks, let me know, will you?
Yeah. But yeah, such a good book. Sam, good to see you. Janice, hello, friend. Hello, Debbie. Hey, your friend, your boss, Lori's watching. And then I see Lisa's watching. Lisa, good to see you.
She's just looking to make sure I'm where I said I was going to be.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Keeping tabs. But yeah, so good to see you guys. I see that we've got a couple people joining us live. Well, Mike, thank you, sir. I've really enjoyed our...
Can I share a story about the rescue mission?
Oh, heck yes, please.
I think it might have been the last staff meeting I was at. Mm-hmm. There was a young lady doing the leadership training where we filled out I forget exactly what the template was.
Yep. Sierra.
Okay,
Sierra? Yeah.
With the jigsaw puzzles?
Yep.
She takes it was 4 jigsaw puzzles, and we're supposed to work in groups to put them all together. And she had taken pieces out of the jigsaw puzzles and switched them with other puzzles. Mm-hmm. And in any other group I've ever worked with, and I had the same mentality, it was get the puzzle done first. Mm-hmm. Do whatever you can. I'm a competitive guy. I want to win.
Yes, I can see that. Yes.
So my goal is, okay, I figured out we're missing pieces. We got extra pieces. So we need to go whatever table we need to go to get the pieces that we need. Don't necessarily give them the pieces they need, but give what we need.
Yep.
But in about 5 minutes, they had taken all of the tables and pushed them in the middle of the floor. And Sierra said she had never seen this done before. And I believe her because I've never seen it either. Rather than try to beat the next group to get the puzzle done, the whole mission staff pushed everything in the middle of the floor and worked together to get the puzzles put together. And I think that's what makes the Winchester Rescue Mission such a special place. They don't care who gets the credit, don't care who gets done first. Let's get the goal, let's get the task accomplished. Don't worry about who gets credit. Winchester Rescue Mission gets credit, residents get the benefit, and that's the main thing.
I appreciate that.
And that's what I love about this place.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a good, I love working with the team that I get to work with, and there's a handful of us that are also highly competitive, but I think at the end of the day, I see, the staff, every individual, the whole team just embody that. We're out to solve, we're out to problem solve, and we know that we cannot do it individually. We have to do it together.
Exactly right.
That is such a, good reminder.
I love seeing that day. Yeah. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I'm glad that you got to be a part of that.
Yeah, that was neat.
Well. Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I love you. I appreciate you. Love Lori. Glad that you guys are a part of Winchester Rescue Mission and everything that's going on. And I look forward to many more years of problem solving and putting together puzzles competitively. That's right. And more conversations on the bench in years to come.
And loving the residents.
That's it.
Yep.
Yes, sir. All right. Thanks, I love you. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Thank you, sir.